Welcome to Pleasantview. A lot has happened in 25 years. Mortimer Goth made his fortune, the Pleasants put down roots, and a new generation of Sims was born. But the peaceful, happy existence is in jeopardy when some new arrivals to Pleasantview start stirring up trouble, creating rivalries and tensions for all the families in the neighborhood. Can anything be done to restore the peace to sleepy, idyllic Pleasantview? Come along with me while we acquaint ourselves with each and every household to discover the answer to that question. Next up, the Burbs. They come tucked away neatly in the family bin. They did, after all, just move to Pleasantview. And now that they've arrived, I've placed them in this lovely bespoke house on 245 Main Street. John, Jennifer, and young Lucy have decided to trade the fast-paced city life for some fresh air and hope to make a nice home here in Pleasantview. The only question now is, will they? Will little Lucy get on well with the townspeople of Pleasantview? Will her father succeed in his new business venture? And will John and Jennifer continue to hide their atypical feelings from one another? Or will they finally open up about who they truly are and thrive because of it? Let's take a look.
Vene, Shaga.
Manaleta tradu, karstom gościl na dojsta. Odefo pas na.
Ai! This hoof wrong, fie!
Stoga, what only I like to.
Odefo pas na. Otza otripus. Polibus.
Neonque fatto scendere. E quando prova.
To's dat?
The Burbs. A perfect family in a perfect house with perfect opportunities ahead. Remind you of anyone else? But unlike the Pleasants, the Burbs actually are quite pleasant. At least for the moment. Let's get to know them a little bit better before we go about their day and see if the pleasantry and perfection holds up. Starting with husband and father John. John is a family sim, a solid provider, with the lifetime want to marry off 6 children. With only 1 child to show for it as of yet, he and Jennifer better get busy if this one of his will ever get fulfilled. And John, it looks like, is ready and raring to go with the want to have another baby. This is a want that is not mirrored for Jennifer, so we're gonna have to roll for it. But that'll come later. He also wants to obtain a pet, which his daughter Lucy also wants. John Burb fondly remembers the hours he used to spend weeding and watering his parents' garden. He hopes to continue the tradition. Perhaps this is the reason he was set on moving to Pleasantview? John is an Aries, and he's teetering towards becoming overweight. But not to worry, he'll be fit in no time with all the extra work he'll be putting in soon. He's kind of sloppy, shy, and lazy, but he's also pretty nice and very playful. John is currently unemployed due to the fact that he left his old job behind him in favor of his new pursuits here in Pleasantview. With his 3 skill points in charisma and 1 in logic, we can only speculate what his old career was. His interests include crime, food, money, health, environment, culture, fashion, and travel. John currently does not have a hobby, but that's only because he hasn't had the opportunity to explore his true hobby in the city. Now that he's back in the suburbs, though, that's bound to change. John is interested in gray-haired Sims who are skilled and mechanical, but dislikes those who sport custom hair. Diving into his memories will be as exciting as you can possibly imagine. In all actuality, they're very, very standard. John received all of his early training, grew up well, fell in love with and dated Jennifer as a teenager, married her and had his very first woohoo with her as an adult, had Lucy, potty trained her and taught her how to talk, and bought this lovely house here in Pleasantview. Boring, right? Well, not for long. But first, let's move on to wife and mother Jennifer. Unlike John and his familial wants, Jennifer is a fortune sim, the bacon bringer of the family, and she has the lifetime want of becoming a Hall of Famer. In a way, she's much like her brother Daniel, without all the affairs, of course. Well, maybe. Jennifer used to dream of being a soccer superstar, but now she's quite happy to focus on being fashionable and stylish instead. Maybe this move will allow her the chance to rediscover her old passion. Jennifer is a Gemini, and is a little more sloppy than neat, more serious than playful, and more active than lazy. She's also quite outgoing, and right between grouchy and nice. As Jennifer also had to relinquish her old job back in the city, the possibilities for a new career are wide open for her. And those 4 skill points in body and 2 in creativity will give her a good starting boost. Jennifer's interests include food, money, entertainment, culture, fashion, work, travel, and animals. So maybe the Burbs could adopt a new furry addition into the family after all. Jennifer's hobby is music and dance, something she hopes to explore further. As for her turn-ons, well, she is quite taken with neat Sims and swimwear, but gray hair? It's a no for her. That's all John's. Jennifer's memories mirror John's. Toddler skills? Check. Teenage dating? Check. Woohoo after marriage? Check. Besides a negative memory gained at the knowledge of her brother Daniel Pleasant's divorce from Mary Sue, everything has been very, very bland for poor Jennifer Burb. Will Lucy deviate much from her parents? Well, she is only a child, and right now she only really cares about growing up and getting a pet, so that may be happening. Little Lucy has a knack for getting into trouble, but she's so cute and friendly that most people never notice. Maybe she is a little bit more interesting. Lucy is a Cancer and is fairly fit, even though she's much more lazy than she is active. She's a little neat, kind of shy, quite playful, and, like her mother, right on the fence between grouchy and nice. She's also a B student, which means that even though she's fairly mischievous, she's still an attentive student. Her interests include entertainment, environment, fashion, school, and animals, and she doesn't have a hobby yet. Jumping into her memories, we can see that both John and Jennifer have strived to keep Lucy growing up well, with John potty training her and teaching her how to talk, and Jennifer teaching her how to walk. We can also see that her uncle's divorce hit her hard as well, but she was still really happy about her cousin Angela's A+ report card. So there we have them, the Burbs. Very perfect, very typical, very, very bland. But they won't be for very much longer. Why, you ask? Well, for one, both John and Jennifer Burb have a secondary aspiration of romance, which means that they're both going to start rolling romance-related ones. But they are a very loving couple, devoted to their daughter and their own individual pursuits, and I fully believe that they can learn to live with each other's romantic interests. Because of this, I'm going to do something a little bit different for the Burbs. I'm going to spawn the ACR adjuster, and for them, I'm going to turn jealousy off so they can both explore their interests in peaceful coexistence. I'm also going to roll for the one of John's to have another baby. Well, it's a yes, so later we are going to have these two try for a baby. But now, John has something else to attend to. There was, after all, another reason he wanted to move his family all the way from the city to Pleasantview. John has been thinking a lot recently of his father's old orchard. He remembers fondly those nostalgic days of picking and planting, of weeding and watering. So when an opportunity arose all the way in Pleasantview of an orchard hitting the market with no potential buyers, John made the hefty decision to risk it all and invest every single simoleon he had into his newfound business. Not only will he revisit those peaceful days of old, but he can share his greatest and oldest hobby with his daughter Lucy as well. Who knows, maybe one day she'll want to take over the family business, if he can get her to be responsible enough, that is. Either way, John is ready to fulfill his dreams of following in his father's footsteps. Today is the very first day he'll open up the orchard to the residents of Pleasantview. Let's see how they take to it. Before John opens up his new business to the public, we are going to have him whip up a few banana splits. Unfortunately, the apple pies and pastries will have to wait until John can increase his cooking skill. Hey, I'd eat it. Well, we now have enough splits to fill up the case, which means it's about time. Since Jennifer currently has no other place to be, she figured she'd tag along and help out her husband by manning the register. Meanwhile, little Lucy will take on the juice stand and try to swindle passerby for all their hard-earned simoleons. I personally have a lot of faith in her. I don't know about John, though. He's just been reduced to tears by a child. And now it's time. The Burb family orchard is open for business. It looks like John's very first customers are arriving in all of their barefooted glory. Well, John seems to have a potential buyer. So let's have him perform a basic sell and see how it goes. Success! Good going, John. Well, it looks like Lucy has swindled her very first customer. John, I don't think this is how it's supposed to go. Congratulations! This is the first simoleon earned by John from the Burb family orchard. It has been placed in John's inventory, as well it should, considering it was his to begin with. Meanwhile, it looks like Jennifer has a line at the counter and has absolutely no idea what to do with it. Well, she seems to finally have figured out what to do, but it doesn't stop this lad from throwing his bags of items all over the floor and stalking away. Poor Jennifer. Even this tyke is getting irritated with her. Then again, he did make John cry. Even Angela has shown up to give her uncle some support and is currently debating whether or not to buy one of the many apples laying on the ground in the orchard. Tough decision. Inside, John is going to attempt to help a lady that looks a little bit lost.
Co než to wie? Kości.
Stalupa fash?
Shampoazua.
Praja.
Toju no nuto.
Tedega fadak.
Vantish.
Ika. Sulika
Ah,
panama.
the fresh apples.
Ekatone.
He'll show her right to them. Yep, that's the stuff. Angela has grabbed an apple and is heavily debating grabbing another. John is already doing really well with his customers. If he keeps this up, he'll have the word out about his orchard in no time. Ah yes, a very extensive menu is this. Well, it looks like John did indeed convince that one customer to buy an apple, and Angela is moving on to her third of choice. John, stop buying that juice! Congratulations! Your business is now rank 1, and you have gained a point to spend on business perks. Good going, John. Meanwhile, Angela has taken her selection of fine apples up to the register and is waiting for Jennifer to check her out. You know it's bad when your niece gets mad at you for taking this long. And look who also decided to show up. Hey Dustin, trying to sneak on by in that new hat? Work your charm, John. Someone has finally shown some interest in the juicers, and I'd love for John to haggle with her, but, you know, he's much too busy playing ball with Dustin to tend to his business and that. Poor little Lucy, waiting out here in the dark with her rotten juices. You go on now. I don't think anyone else is going to be purchasing those. Look at how uncomfortable poor Jen is. I mean, I'd be too. Yes, we sold a juicer. Now if only Jen can hurry up. Oh god, she's getting impatient. Yes, she did it! Good on you, Jennifer. Good on you. Well, it's gotten really late, and it's time for John to close up shop. Poor Jennifer. Don't you hate this, though? When your shift is finally over and customers just keep on piling in, waiting on you to check them out until you're just ready to die inside? No? Just me? Okay, moving on then. Now that everyone is gone, John has a lot of restocking to do before they can finally return to their home lot. Luckily, Jennifer can help him now that she's free from the register. Oh, come on. Bet I know who did that. Well, the night is over, so let's see how old Johnny Boy did with his new business. Oh my god. Well, you know, it could have been better. It'll get there. Sure, I have faith in him. Well, at least we're at business rank 1, so that's good. As for the business perk, I decided to go with connections and give John notable reputation because I feel like this would suit him best. And now, after a long, exhausting day, the Burb family is going to bid a brief farewell to John's new orchard and get on home. It's now after midnight, and I'm sure each and every one of them is extremely exhausted. This first day may have been a little rocky, but with John's friendly mannerisms and honest business ethics, I see very good things ahead for him. It's only a matter of time. Well, after a long trip, the Burbs have finally gotten back to their residence. Even though it's morning on their home lot, I'm still going to send them all off to bed to get some much-needed rest. John and Jennifer are really going to need to restore their energy if they're going to try for that baby later, after all. But of course the welcome wagon showed up and interrupted their sleep. Darren, Brandy, and Mortimer are all waiting outside to be greeted, but Lucy's tired, so Lucy ain't going. And of course John just comes strolling outside with his robe wide open and his underpants to have a little chat with Brandy. And it seems that he has pretty good chemistry with her too, so that's interesting. His wife is waiting right behind him to give him a little flirt in front of Brandy. She's clearly telling her that this is her man and to keep her hands off. But Brandy doesn't seem to get the hint. Neither does John as he stares daggers into her while making sushi. Brandy seems to like that. I like how they both scuttle away when Mortimer comes down the stairs. Speaking of Mortimer, it seems like he may have a little bit of a thing for Jennifer, but I hate to tell him, she's sadly not interested at all. Someone else is apparently a little bit interested in her too. Who's she even talking to? Who is this? No, she doesn't even know you. Darren, what the heck are you doing? She's not a child, my guy. Ah, yes, just set it right there on the floor. That'll be great. Thanks. Ah, jeez, not you too, Darren. Meanwhile, little Lucy has something up her sleeve.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Aw, he liked it. There they go, entering into an intense water balloon fight. Mortimer and Darren are gossiping about Don. I guess Morty has taken to him. He is much better for his daughter anyway. What? Oh God. God, just look at her face. Look at her face. Don't mess with Lucy, y'all. Oh, come on, Darren. I just put that damn thing back on the floor. Apparently, Lucy doesn't like it too much either. Jesus, kid. Well, the guests have gone, and John has made the family banana splits to celebrate the grand opening of his brand new business investment. Jesus, John. Really? Are you serious right now? Come on, Jennifer. God. Lucy has run off to sleep in her treehouse, and I don't blame her one bit. There's only one thing left to do for the Burbs. It's baby making time. I have to say, this is some lovely woohoo music going on in the background there.
Dating wrong, huh? Vad var det?
Well, this is where we leave the Burbs. Hands and feet flying, giggles erupting, plumb bobs exploding. We'll just have to wait and see if this woohoo did the trick.
Zig! Era money!
Lupadel, Flash!
Fuga!
Busy bee.
Cremashaw, flabet.
Azoga!
Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this intro, please be sure to leave a like and maybe even a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you like this content, and if you're just passing through, I hope you'll join me again. Next up, we'll be playing the oldies. A lot of people may find these two golden agers pretty boring, but given the chance, you'll find that Herb and Coral are a pretty kooky older couple. Herb is getting up there and feeling it, and he wants to spice things up in their normal, ordinary lives. And Coral is feeling a bit lonely lately and needs some more companionship in her life. Will we be able to bring some excitement into the droning lives of these two old birds? Check back in soon to find out.